Hi, it's Michael with Active8me. Today's masterclass we're going to talk about finding the best shoe for you. So we're going to cover specific running shoes, how they fit when we put them on, as well as how long to use them before they start to burn out. So we obviously use dress shoes when we go to work, maybe lifting shoes in the gym. So we need a specific running shoe when we're out on the trails or the track or the road. So today we're going to cover a general running shoe as well as a more specific running shoe. In regards to our general running shoe, the biggest thing that we want is comfort and fit. So with our general running shoe, they're quite versatile and we can usually use them for most runs that we have. So previously we used to be prescribed a certain running shoe based on pronation, things like that. Nowadays with advancements in technology, most shoes are good for most people. But how do we actually break that down? Or where do we look for comfort in a shoe? The main thing when we're buying a new shoe is comfort and fit. But where do we look for comfort when we're buying a new pair of shoes? So firstly, in the upper and the laces, we don't want this too cramped, otherwise we're going to start to cramp in our feet. The next is what's called a toe box. This is the space where our toes fit inside the shoe. So we obviously don't want too much space there so our feet slide around, but we also don't want that to be cramped either. The next is having a good heel on the shoe where we're not slipping out every time we stride. We obviously want it to be quite comfortable and cushioned. And the last thing is when we talk about a heel drop. So a heel drop is the amount of space between our heel and our toe. So if we tend to run as a heel striker when we run, we actually want a higher heel to toe drop. So anything over 7 millimeters. If we tend to run in our midfoot or forefoot, we actually want a lower heel to toe drop. So anywhere between 0 to 6 mils. So keep that in mind next time you're actually purchasing some shoes. Also with our shoes, try not to buy online unless you know the specific size and brand that you're using, then buying online is actually really tricky. Sometimes it can set us back in our training because we need to get a refund or get the actual right size. There's also research that suggests that having 2 or 3 shoes is actually really beneficial in our running. So keep a hold of those other shoes because it spreads the load and it can reduce the amount of overuse injury that we may see in our running. So what about how long we can use a shoe for, or how many kilometers we can get out of them? There's a really general rule of about 1,000 kilometers or 600 miles. I've used shoes for a lot less than that, but I've also used a lot of shoes for more than that amount of kilometers. So it comes back down to how you feel in that shoe. If you feel that it's unresponsive and a bit dead underfoot, it is time to be in the market for a new set of shoes, especially if you've had them for a couple of years. So we've covered generic shoes. We're going to now cover more specific shoes. So firstly, trail shoe. As the name suggests, trail shoes help us get over rocks, tree roots, and loose surfaces. They're designed to get muddy and wet, and they really help stabilize our ankle when we're out on the trails. That's our first shoe. Our second shoe is a track shoe or a spike. So these are good for obviously on our synthetic tracks or even a grass track. These are good if your goals are run specific to the track. If we don't have goals that are specific to the track, whether it's 400, 800, up to 5 or 10 Ks on the track, you can really utilize a generic running shoe for our track sessions. So don't stress too much about these unless the track is your priority and it fits in with your goals. Most people can get away with a general running shoe on the track as well. Again, these are very versatile shoes. So moving on to our road shoe, which is what most people utilize in their training and races. So there's 2 types of running shoe for the road. We've got our race flat. So this has a very low heel drop, which is what I was just talking about before. These are very responsive and light shoes, and these used to be the best 5 years ago. Some people still wear these shoes, so they can be beneficial. The other shoe, which is where a lot of the sports science has come in the last couple of years, is what's called a carbon plated shoe. So the beauty of these shoes is that they've got the foam on the back as well as the carbon plate down through the middle. This helps with our responsiveness when we're striding each time and can help with efficiencies in our running. So there can be some performance benefit with these shoes. The beauty of these shoes is that there are now so many in the market that we do have a lot more choice with these, because for certain ones, they may have less stability or less support. But as I said, with the market changing now, there are more shoes available out there that do have more support with still having the carbon plate. So overall, regardless of what shoes you're buying, you really want to find one that's comfortable, that fits well, and that is specific to your training goals. Buying a new pair of shoes can be one of the best excuses to get out there and train. So make sure they're comfortable, and we'll see you out there on the road, the track, or the trail.